Hello, I'm FX Toycat, and welcome back to Seed Sunday, except this is a little bit of a different Seed Sunday because it's actually about one of the most insane speedruns we've seen here on the Bedrock edition of Minecraft, because the game was just beaten without glitches in 23 minutes and 31 seconds. And that is not on a set seed, that is on a random seed where nothing was known about it prior to loading it up. This smashed the previous record, which was over 30 minutes, so this is the first sub 30 minute run and also the first sub 25 minute run, which is pretty crazy to break 2 records in a row like that. But also, interestingly enough, this is very, very close to the Java Edition world record, which, given that that's a much more developed category with many more speedrunners, and also given that the Java Edition of Minecraft is easier to speedrun than the Bedrock one, it's impressive that this is still only 2 minutes off the world record for a much easier edition to beat. And therefore, the question becomes, how exactly did this happen? And the answer is an insane seed, which is what brings us back to Seed Sunday. But first, let's show off this run. Let's show you the insanity of what happened on a purely random seed, because it blew me away and maybe it'll blow you away too. So first of all, here is the proof that this truly is a random seed. You can see they left the seed field blank. You really need to keep that in mind, because this is such a good seed that, you know, it might have, at least a few weeks ago or months ago, have made the cut for a set seed glitchless, which is really just the scale of the seed. But you can see, you know, they've loaded up the seed, they've given it a look around before they start, and the moment they move, the timer begins, and they start looking around for a village to run towards. And they make the very fortunate decision. It's interesting enough, like if we look later on the seed, you can see that they got very lucky to go for a slightly further away from spawn village because those trees were blocking their view. We'll dive into that later though. And then they decide to head towards the closest village. When they finally do make it there, a solid 40 seconds later, they get some wood from the village. Pro tip, if you need wood in Minecraft, you can chop down trees, or you can just steal it from the villagers' houses. Then they decide to loot the chests that are around here. They don't get too much luck in their first chest, but then just around the corner, there happens to be a blacksmith chest with 5 obsidian already in it, with some iron boots and some bread. I mean, it's pretty good. It's not the best blacksmith chest, but it's still way better than nothing. I think we can all agree. And then, as well as just having a blacksmith chest, which is already kind of nice, I think we can agree. But then, after making a stone pickaxe from the blacksmith chest, they kind of fall into this cave right here below the village. Lots of villagers have caves below them, but this village is interesting because it has just down here under this dirt. I'm sorry, the the video is kind of low quality. You can see they record it straight from their screen here, but you can see, hopefully through the blur, that there is in fact a there is in fact a monster spawner down there, which is crazy cool to have a second set of free chests. Admittedly, there's a bit of a fight involved, but that's fine. That's something that the speedrunner El Triego can totally deal with. But then what gets more insane, if we look a little further here, is you'll see how just further down that same hallway, there's a second... That's right, a second mob spawner. So after making his own Fletcher so he can trade to get some emeralds, which he does like so, and then after trading those same emeralds later on to get a bow, not only a bow actually, but also killing the Fletcher so he can get another Fletcher that'll trade for some arrows, he decides to take the ballsy decision of guessing that there might be a stronghold below here, something that is entirely possible to be, likely on Bedrock. It's rolling the dice a little bit, but for a good speed run, it's totally worth doing, at least in his opinion. And finding a stronghold below the village, again, it's not uncommon, but what is incredibly uncommon is to find it this close to the surface. Again, it's really, really close, and it's not just that he found it close to the surface. And then after heading through just a few rooms in this thing, seriously, the luck on this is insane. The end portal room is found, which is great for lava, but also, look, there are 4 IF enders in this thing already. Again, that was previously, for a while, the best seed that had been found, like the best number that had been found for any seed. Again, getting more than that is quite a rare thing. And yeah, to have 4 of those, and it's below a village that's near spawn with these chests, this is an insane seed. It allowed him to go to the nether knowing he only needed to get 8 IF enders. That allowed for so much more speed, which means that if we skip all the way to the end here, you can see how all of the towers are down by 22 minutes. The point in the game where most people are like finishing their first night. You can see how on a random seed here, again, none of that pre-seed knowledge that some people, it's not actually cheating, but some people like to see it as like, well, it's an advantage you don't normally have. What actually happened here, as you can see instead, is the dragon is being taken down at 22.5 minutes, and then with just a tiny bit of dragon luck, regards to how fast she comes down, because obviously that's an always changing fact, but with just a tiny bit of luck on that one, and all of the arrows that came from earlier, which allows for long shots like this, you can see how the game was beaten in 23 minutes, and after the short wait for the dragon to come through, as we all know, that's the timer doesn't stop till the dragon's dead, and you go through the end, and the end credits roll, and the game is beaten in 23 minutes and 31 seconds. That is an insane run. I think it should go without saying, but just in case it doesn't, That's an insane run, now you know. But let's talk about this seed, shall we? Because my immediate reaction to someone getting so lucky with their seed is like, holy Jesus, that's a good seed, not just to use randomly, but maybe to use deliberately. So this is the current world record Minecraft seed. Let me show you around just how insane this is in person. So we can prove this is a real world seed, a real thing that happened. You saw from the video that it was random. It's one of the 4.3 billion Minecraft seeds that he could have gotten in that moment, but he got one that has just so many cool coincidences combined that I want to verify and share with all of you right now. So this is the spawn location. Again, I can't point out the luckiness that you can't see the closest village to spawn right here. It was so close. Like if it just weren't for the fact that, you can barely see this village there, whereas if you look behind you can see the village much more clearly. You can see just the rooftops over there versus over there you can see actually a village. If those trees weren't there and if it was, or if this mountain wasn't here and he could see this village, which he would have gone for instead, it would have been a pretty nice village find. I mean, it's still got an iron golem for free iron. It's still got, like villagers, and it's still got some crops, even though no hay bales. But you can see how much luckier this seed was just for the fact that going to this village instead really does increase your luck by a significant amount. And why is that, you might be asking? Allow me to elaborate. So here's the same village from the video, except this time it's not in some bizarre blurry quality. You know, let's not pick on speedrunners for their video quality, but let's instead point out that yes, below this village, right below the blacksmith even, blacksmith chest, with random stuff, it's going to be different every time because that's how blacksmith chest works. A free iron pickaxe in my case. You can go straight down from there into this little cave, and then boom, in this little cave, we find ourselves a zombie spawner, with zombie villagers in this case. How nice, how delightful. But then the crazier thing to me is the fact that it's not just a zombie spawner below a village, which already shouldn't really be happening, because look how low a gap there is from this to the surface. 2 blocks. 2 blocks is all you have to dig down to get from here to a zombie spawner, so that's pretty cool, if you actually know where you're digging, that is. So that's really cool by itself, but then the fact that all you have to do is break another couple of dirt blocks, and then go down this dark hallway towards the cold, towards the darkness, and then there is a second mob spawner. It really is here. There's even a little baby cat running away from it, because reasons, I guess. And yeah, I love the fact that this managed to happen, and I love that you get 2 extra chests in addition to, like the blacksmith chest, in addition to the fact that this is a spawner, a thing near spawn. This would be a perfect thing for later in the game. You could combine both zombie spawners together, make a zombie farm or whatever, and the fact that, again, if for a speedrunner, all this is a couple of bonus chests, but for a Minecraft player, for someone who wants to take advantage of that, you get a village placement next to 2 zombie spawners, one of the few blocks that you can't move around in Minecraft. I think that's a shame. I think you should be able to silk touch them up. I get why you can't, but also whatever. But yeah, you can see that, like, oh yeah, that is a thing that is kind of cool in my opinion, and it's not where this seed ends either, because, here's my map right now. You can see from the spawn area, you spawn next to, by the way, 2 villages. That village over there that's actually a little closer, that village over there that's not particularly far away, but also you spawn next to 3 lava pits. As you can see, there's one over here, this close to spawn. I mean, we spawned literally over there, next to the lava pit. Again, I guess it's lucky he didn't assume that that was the best lava pit. Then there's a second lava pit next to this desert temple, a desert temple which, by the way, is absolutely covered in sand blocks. Like, look how buried this thing is. You might not even spot it, but it is right there. But having these 3 structures nearby is pretty darn cool, until you realize, oh, actually, there's actually a savannah village over there as well. So just in case you wanted a 3rd village near spawn, guess what, there's one over here. And this is a cool find by itself. Don't get me wrong, to have an area of the map this small be explored and to find 3 villages and a desert temple, it's real nice. But let's explore the full map. So you can see, without me even explaining it to you, that this map is filled with all of the god tier biomes that you need for a speedrun, or really just the survival end of Minecraft, because there are 3 biomes that are better than others if you want a boost to the survival game and you intend to do it fast. There's obviously the savannah, the desert, and the plains, and this, map being made up of those 3 of those things is really great for those players, but it does have one downside, actually. Again, if I want to mention, for a speedrunning thing, this is great. Having so many villages, and there's a lot of them, having those ravines that you can clearly see in the bottom of that map right there, having all of the desert temples, which you can't see on the map, but I assure you we saw as we went around. This is something that is really great for a player who knows what they're wanting, they're looking for, etc. But it is a little bit of a downside if you want to start a survival world here, unless you, again, if you're okay with that, that's great. But it's a downside if you do want to have lots of interesting varied biomes close to spawn, because this doesn't have that. It has interesting ravines, it has has free lava pits near spawn, which is cool. You can take advantage of that to get a lot of smelting done. You know, it has a ravine near spawn where you can do precisely the same thing. It has so many different benefits, although, yeah, again, around the seed, and, you know, it's great, it's delightful. But if you want variety, if you want to find your nearest mesa, even like, you know, a lot of searches I did was like, where's the nearest buried treasure? It's like, it's 1,000 blocks away. If you want to find the nearest, like, actual ocean with buried treasure, that's a thing. If you want a seed that has the, you know, the same core components, there's a lot of seeds that we've showcased. It's good, it's great. Then this is that seed. This seed has the fun little benefit of also including a very long river. It's actually 3 rivers, but like, you can see there's like lots of very big rivers here, and maybe that's useful to you. You can take advantage of that, do something with it. But otherwise, I think this is a really, really great seed that I recommend if you want to beat Minecraft fast. And that's not just because of the overworld, it's because the Nether totally matches it as well. I mean, even if you spawn inside of a basalt deltas, which seemed like it was going to be one of the failing points in the speedrun, luckily enough, even the Nether, which is seems like it should have been a below average Nether, turns out even that is pretty good. All you gotta do is head literally 125 blocks this way, and it's a warped forest. Wow, warped forest sure is nice, right? But I mean, a warped forest is nothing if you don't have a Nether fortress, right? Those are the two things being Minecraft fast, except, you know, I don't know why I have to dig down for it, and I wouldn't recommend doing that in survival. But yeah, if you just dig down below that warped forest, somehow, just below the biome, there is the Nether fortress that you're always looking for. And yeah, it just makes this a very great survival heavy seed, but it's not the only seed I will ever recommend. In fact, it's not even a seed I recommend for every Minecraft player, and I'm sure looking at this you can make those judgments for yourself. That's the reason I make seed videos, and indeed Store Nasty to some extent, is to show you some seeds that you might be interested in, that are worth checking out in some way, but it's not worth checking out every way, because every Minecraft seed can't be the best at everything. What you get when you get an amazing world that just gives you such huge advantages, and we haven't even really covered the stronghold. When you have a Minecraft world that is like this, you get a big advantage to your survival in the short term for doing the things, like if you want to just do stuff like, again, start a zombie farm, beat the game very quickly, etc, etc. This seed is the best for that, but it does come, it has to be said, it always comes at the cost of something, and in this case, the cost that you get from that is the biome variety. Is that a worthwhile trade-off for you? That is something every Minecraft player gets to make, and that is why there are so many seeds for so many people. Like the world, you know, the hardest Minecraft seed, the one that we recently tried to beat, and like we did beat, I'm gonna say, but like that's a seed that a lot of people enjoy, even though it's objectively awful, because objectively awful is kind of fun to some people. Some people like the easy seeds that just give it all to you with lots of loot, and some people hate that. They want to earn everything themselves. Some people even see using seeds altogether as like kind of a form of cheating. You shouldn't know what you're going to get ahead of time, and I think they're all pretty valid kind of takes and opinions to have, and that is why, despite all these you know, years of Seed Sunday, there are still interesting seeds that are worth checking out in some way, and that inspire people. I see it in the comments to be like, yeah, I'm gonna use this for a new world. And then I sometimes even see people using a Seed Sunday from forever ago in their survival world all these years later, and that is cool in my opinion, and that is the point of Seed Sunday. And I just want to quickly give one more mention to like this. You know, speedrun seed is so insanely good at speedrunning that I think it will be many months before we get a time better than 23:31. I mean, personally, I can't even come close to that, right? And I don't think I think it'll be a while before anyone else could even try, because to get a seed this good takes a bit of luck that maybe you don't fully appreciate. Or maybe you do, and you just enjoyed today's video, where I showed off precisely that. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. And other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.